Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR Today. Happy President's Day, 2/21/22. It's February 21st, 2022. The man they call me, and the lovely Linda K. Linda, how do you celebrate your President's Day?
I was going to say in a previous job, I would have federal holidays off. So I would probably still be sleeping in right now.
Gotcha. You don't dress up like Honest Abe? The
No.
stovetop hat, with stovetop stuffing and a nice little beard?
No. I would just, if I had the day off, just take it and relax. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, as a son of a father who was a federal employee, he was around a lot on these holidays. I mean, there's so many of them, but President's Day was definitely one of them. There's no mail tomorrow,
There's
no,
a mattress sale, right?
yeah, there's always mattress sales at President's Day. So
yeah,
shortest month of the year, and we had fake spring yesterday as well. So,
yeah,
we had snow squalls on Saturday and then 40s.
50s down me in Milwaukee.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're the drunkest city in America, so we were drinking Saturday night, so we don't know what the temperature was.
Probably, yeah.
Linda, what's the sponsor for today?
Well, I had to put away my sweatshirt yesterday, and I was wearing my lovely, comfortable, fashionable collar and elbow t-shirt. You can look at lots of different t-shirt options by going to collarandelbowbrand.com. As always, check out the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashions. And if you want to save some cash, use promo code LindaK. That's LINDAKAY and save 10% off your order.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, we had a big wrestling weekend. We had Smackdown. We had Rampage on Friday nights. Well, Friday afternoon with Rampage. Almost felt like we were watching TNA, Total Nonstop Action on Fox Sports, at 3:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. But we had our Rampage at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. We had Smackdown at 8 Eastern, 6 Central. And then Saturday afternoon for the East Coast. But Saturday morning, we had WWE Elimination Chamber live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. We're going to run down real quick what happened in SmackDown. I mean, really, the story on SmackDown is we have a new Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, Sami Zayn did it, no matter how insane he may be. That match got pretty physical with Shinsuke, and Nakamura did not have Rick Boogs with him at his side to possibly aid and assist him. It was a solid match, and that knee, that was a loud thud there, whether there was a knee pad on or not. I'm sure that really hurt when Nakamura's knee hit the steel steps there. But yeah, we have our new Intercontinental Champion. And that's Sami Zayn's thing, and on this road to WrestleMania, he is a title holder. So interesting things going on.
He's not being held back. He's not being conspired against. He is the Intercontinental Champion. Let's talk about Rampage real quick before we get into Elimination Chamber. Rampage, again, just throwing matches at us in an hour. They've found their groove. They're getting 4 matches off. Show obviously starts off with the guy who opens the show up a lot of times, and he should. Adam Cole, baby. I mean, because when that music hits and you're at like 10 Eastern, 9 Central, like, what's up? I mean, it literally gets my adrenaline pumping, even though I know it's coming, right?
Yeah, it's a reset.
Taking over the Dark Order's Press 10, Vance, number 10. Good match, but I mean, at the end of the day, we knew who was winning this one. Adam Cole lowered the boom to score a win and clearly has AEW World Champion Adam Page in his sights. And that match did get officially announced. So for Revolution, it's going to be Hangman Adam Page and Adam Cole, baby, for the AEW World Championship.
Yeah, it's nice to see it's now made official. We knew this was coming, and there's been a couple weeks leading up to it, and we still have a couple weeks to get it even further. Should be a good one with that one.
Face of the Revolution qualifying match, otherwise known as the Professor Hulk Hemorrhoid Donut Ring. Dante Martin taking on Team Taz's Powerhouse Hobbs. I told you I liked this match when we were getting ready to talk before we came on the air. The only thing that's missing, Hobbs has got to wear that fur coat every time. He didn't have it on this time, but when he goes out to like ringside, that coat is so baller.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it outdoors. We got to get it indoors as well. It does add a little extra flair, if you will, to Powerhouse Hobbs. But yeah, going into this match, I wasn't really sure which way it would go. Dante Martin's really hot, currently at AEW, but Powerhouse Hobbs getting that win over Dante Martin, top flight.
Yeah, according to Jericho, he broke Dante Martin in two with the spine buster for the victory. Tony Schiavone backstage with champion Jade Cargill and Smart Mark Sterling. The Bunny getting the next title shot at the TBS champion Jade Cargill. Matt Hardy, big money Matt Hardy, interrupting with the Bunny. Hardy on behalf has challenged Jade, and Smart Mark and Jade, they're taking matches wherever they can. Now, Jade Cargill did look like she was heading towards Jeddah, didn't she? Because she had on a full bodysuit.
I was thinking.
Did you think that when she was wearing that?
No, I was, because that was before Elimination Chamber. When I was thinking of Jim Carrey and Batman Forever, wasn't he wearing something kind of?
Well, yeah, Jim Carrey was the Riddler. Yeah, and he had question marks all over the place.
But she had dollar signs. But here, I don't know. It just kind of reminded me of his outfit and his look from Batman Forever. But what I did love about her was saying that I forgot her exact words, when she told Matt Hardy that she even smells of money. She's like, "Come here, I smell like money," and he's like, "Oh." Yeah.
That was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. The 5-minute rookie challenge with the professor of pro wrestling, Serena Deeb, defeats Angelica Risk. This wasn't a 60-second match. She made it a couple minutes, but Serena Deeb is sending a message to the entire AEW women's division.
Absolutely. I like how they kept mentioning how she's not looking at the clock. She's not looking at the clock because she knows she's got it in the bag. But when she finally looked and she saw, maybe she noticed that it was 2 minutes or 3 minutes, actually. No. It was just over 2 minutes.
It's like a wild animal playing with its food.
Yeah. And she saw that it was just over 2 minutes. Maybe that was the breaking point where it's like, literally, let's try to go for a breaking point. And she got that submission in, and still obviously looking strong with Serena Deeb.
The AEW debut of the leader of the Bullet Club, Jay White, Switchblade Jay White, taking on Trent Beretta with freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. I know this is an Impact, but Jay White at the pay-per-view on Saturday night turned on his teammates and is now sided with the Good Brothers, who are also members of the Bullet Club. Let's keep talking Forbidden Door here. Does that mean that Switchblade Jay White may be bringing back the Bullet Club, the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson back in AEW?
Sure, leading that way. We had something similar like this not too long ago with Kenny Omega, and now Jay White through the Forbidden Doors. And
Jay White's got a huge win over Kenny Omega too, over in Japan.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to get into. I know you and I talked before about even last week, and you and Matthew were talking about Jay White. Like, obviously, Jay White's very known within the IWC and just with the wrestling industry as a whole. Some of us who may not have seen much of New Japan, or obviously I know he's in other promotions, obviously, but if we didn't know too much about him, now we do, and I mean that in a good way. I did enjoy hearing Excalibur, Taz, and Jericho. I mean, I learned so much more about Jay White just from that match, but it did make me.
Commentary did a great job.
Yeah,
a great job.
It did get me more invested in that match with him and Trent Beretta. Great physical match. That one went long, so that was a really good one to see. And they talk about their history, how this is their first time facing each other in singles, because they used to be, face each other in tag matches back in the day. And great match. And I am a bit more into Jay White now that I know a bit more about him and his current or previous, relations with some of the stars currently on AEW. I'm liking it.
The only thing I wonder, though, and yeah, I'm into Jay White too, right? But to me, I know that they did a great job of explaining in the commentary. He feels like a Finn Balor of AEW. I mean, because the guy's not overly big in size, great worker, a physical worker, and I mean, he can move and a great psychology in the ring. Do you think that all this talent that's coming into AEW, because remember, this is an American TV show for an American TV audience. And now we're having to spend all this time, which, again, commentary did a great job of telling us who Jay White is. Do you think they're overdoing it? I mean, they have to sell it to us of who this guy is. I mean, let's get him in there. Let's get him working over and over so we know who he is in AEW.
Yeah, but I think him debuting at a night when there was the huge signee that was coming on, that they needed to give us a little bit more of Jay White up front, if you
Yeah.
will. And, and it was on Rampage, instead of on Dynamite, but still, meaning his, big match here, his big
Sure.
AEW televised debut. So I think it was done well given the hype that we didn't, we know that big night was more so, well, it was a bit of both, but, Keith Lee and, of
Well, I
course, Jay
mean, we were
White. But
thinking that it was going to be Keith Lee, right?
yeah. So that's, now that he's been presented to us in a very strong in-your-face way, let's let the audience who may not know about this in-your-face talent, let's let them know a bit more about him and see, what kind of, no pun intended, impact he can bring to AEW.
Let's talk WWE. The Elimination Chamber was 12 Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on Saturday, live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The fact that they're over there doing one of their bigger pay-per-views now speaks to, obviously, this is, and I'm indifferent on this, really. This speaks to the fact that the Saudi Arabia family, government, whatever, throws a bunch of money at the WWE, gets all these big names. These pay-per-views have to happen in the morning stateside because they're part of a festival, like their yearly festival, which is great. They had women on the billboards for the first time ever. The women, unfortunately, are not allowed to show any skin past their neck. We had one talent on Saturday that showed a little bit of Adam's, or not Adam's apple, but a little bit of that neck there, where the Adam's apple would be a little bit lower because she wouldn't wear the full bodysuit. We'll get into her in a second. But Linda, your thought on how many women actually got to perform on the Elimination Chamber and where we go from here?
Hey, that was tremendous. More matches than usual. I know you, Matthew, talked about that as well. And then, Lita having a big part of stating her piece on, having more women performing there at the show, the billboards. I think that's great. I also like this time how I know women do have to be covered a lot in their bodies, but this time they got to wear these one pieces that I thought made them all
The
look
one
great.
pieces didn't look bad. They looked, they're all right.
Yeah, and they worked great. For wrestling too. That's normal wrestling attire for some talents, but it still worked well with all of them. They could still make it personal to them, and I think it's still. That was one thing, that of the women's part.
And that's what I meant by Jade Cargill. She looked like she would have fit right in.
Right. Well, I liked it better than last time where they had to wear the t-shirts over. I think it was basically that bodysuit underneath, but I did enjoy that. I did enjoy the women's matches and Lita getting emotional and her, getting that reaction from the crowd when she, post match, which we'll get into. But I thought that was tremendous.
Okay, let's get into the matches. Pre-show, which I didn't know we were going to have pre-show, but that's where they threw Rey Mysterio and The Miz. Miz's shenanigans caught up to him, and Rey Mysterio gets the win on the pre-show. But Linda, you got points. And again, we'll get to the PWR Fantasy Draft with only 2 shows left in the season, AEW's Revolution and WWE WrestleMania. So Mysterio gets a pre-show win over The Miz. The opening match on the pay-per-view proper sees the Universal Champion Roman Reigns Goldberg. Nobody knew what I can't even say it. Goldberg meant, but apparently that means smash him with a spear and beat him. Your thoughts on Rey and Miz and Roman Reigns and Goldberg?
Well, with Rey and Miz, I'm happy to have gotten some pay-per-view points. I'm sorry, premium live event points. But
I'm calling it.
Although it was pre-show, I will take it. Remember that late move I did before the Rumble, getting Rey Mysterio onto Team Long Time. That proved me well. Got some points there, and also I have Miz on my team as well. I thought Roman Reigns and Goldberg kicking off Elimination Chamber was hot start. I enjoyed that. I don't know. I just want to find out what a Goldburger is now. Sorry.
Well, we'll have to ask Donnie or Mark, the Wahlburgers.
Oh, yeah. They have some places down here in Milwaukee.
There's a Wahlburgers down there, right?
Yeah. Brookfield and now downtown Milwaukee. But I digress. It was a quick match, which is fine. I didn't think we would be able to get as good of a quality type match as we got Goldberg and Lashley last time overseas, but this helped, put aside something that was 2 years in the making. It still put Roman Reigns strong and on top. We got some spear versus spear as expected, but Roman Reigns won clean. There weren't any shenanigans. They got their moves in, and the man standing tall still your Universal Champion, Roman Reigns.
Yep. Bianca Belair wins the Women's Elimination Chamber, defeating Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Doudrop, Nikki ASH. Linda, overall, and I'll get to this at the end of the show, I found some things to not be happy with throughout this pay-per-view. One of the things was I thought it was cool that Alexa Bliss had a swing in her pod. Mm-hmm. Why is it there? If she's going to have a swing in her pod, shouldn't she come in first? If they're all coming in and filling pods, why do they stand in the middle? Then she has to go in a pod after. I thought it was a cluster. I almost said cluster F, but I thought it was a cluster.
Yeah, I suppose she just got that entrance for her huge return back, Otherwise, right. Like you said, she could have came up first.
It was probably mapped out, is what it was.
It seemed a little, like out of place there when you had the other girls waiting in the ring, ladies, in the ring. But I guess with her making her return, she would be coming out last, I suppose. Kind of like at new day one,
Day one,
day one where
Ish.
Where Brock Lesnar came out last when Big E was still the champion at the start of the match. Someone's making their big return back, a huge pay-per-view. Huh?
Well, hey, let's talk about SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville losing to the team of Naomi and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is the one that wore her was it judo?
Her gi.
Judo
she had her gi. Yep.
I thought that was absolutely tremendous. Why didn't she keep her patches on, though? Why did she take her patches off?
I don't know. I mean, they explained how that was her gi winning her Olympic medal.
Yeah, if you look at side-by-side pictures that are out there on the internet, it's exactly what she was wearing, but maybe she bought a new one and didn't put the patches on, or maybe they were sponsorship patches. I don't know. But
I'm not sure.
I was so happy to see it. I mean, I was very happy to see her in her gi coming down and, uniform, being a, what did she win, bronze in the 2008 Olympics?
That I believe so as well. I believe that was in Beijing as well. Yeah.
Yep. So Ronda Rousey and Naomi, and Ronda Rousey was announced that she would have to try to do this with one hand behind her back. Well, her hand kept going to her side, and you could see Ronda get a mental light on, going, "Dude, I'm not supposed to be using my arm," and put it back behind her back. It's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, I was surprised that knot stayed in place. It was just a double knot that I thought was going to come undone, whether on purpose or not. But no, it stayed intact. But yeah, I could see that too. The mental fight of wanting to use that hand because it was somewhat accessible. Oh, nope. So yeah, she did great though. So, some of those maneuvers, very innovative.
Yep.
Still did the
and
work.
Sonya Deville, the reason this came up is because Sonya, had the bad arm from Ronda. And once the match started, she took her sling off, and Sonya was good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed that too, though. I'm glad Ronda and Naomi won. Does this mean still something with Naomi and Sonya? Probably, but
that's probably a WrestleMania match to blow it off and finally get done. I got points for the girls from Alexa Bliss out of the Elimination Chamber, and then I got points for Ronda winning. Unfortunately, I got Charlotte losing, but we got points. So
hey, I got Bianca winning the
chamber.
And
Bianca won that Elimination Chamber for you. Speaking of points and speaking of winning, Drew McIntyre defeats Madcap Moss in a Falls Count Anywhere match using what's his sword's name again? Sheila? Angela. Yeah, well, Angela came into play there. He wasn't cutting anybody, but it sure made the people feel like he was going to cut somebody. But Drew McIntyre with the win over Madcap Moss. Women's champion Becky Lynch, I don't know what Lynch is, defeats Lita. I love this match, and I thought Lita looked amazing. And I'm still dumbfounded by the direction they're going to WrestleMania. I really thought, and I think the world thought, Becky Lynch should be taking on Ronda Rousey, and Lita should be taking on Charlotte.
Right.
So Lita's got no match now.
That blows too, because we were teased for saying, "I'm here. I can not just for
got a run. I got a championship run in me."
Yeah. Can something still change?
Of course. She could be added, get a triple threat or something. I mean, But it's just, it feels, again, convoluted and just sloppy. Like the booking keeps changing week to week. Hey, let's talk about
And now,
booking. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with Bianca winning the Chamber, now at least with her and Becky, we get the, that a full on, hopefully no shenanigans match.
Right,
It's
instead of
kind of
the
that was
SummerSlam.
started. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think a lot of us felt that could have been going that way if
Yeah.
Becky wasn't going to be facing Ronda, and we are getting that unless things change. But I mean, at least there's still some storytelling there, and they can really help, or continue to build that up. And we got that a little bit after SummerSlam, but now we can really get it going full force.
Let's talk about booking, and it's ironic, and I guess it times out perfectly. The last two matches. If Frank Costantino was here, the Cos, he would tell you he despises DQs on a pay-per-view. A no contest is even worse. You're telling me just that little bit of fighting and the Viking Raiders couldn't make it into the ring? That's the storytelling we do in wrestling for 30 years. Oh, it looks like they're struggling to get back in. They're going to fight against odds. That match couldn't happen? Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, the
Terrible.
night before, I mean, until on television the night before they had a match, and now they can't even get one on the pay-per-view.
Right.
And I didn't score as many points as I should have for too
And
long.
you got
Just
robbed the
saying.
Yep, you got robbed the match points, win or loss, and possible title defense points.
Yeah, I just feel, I mean, if that was in the works in the beginning, we could have had a different tag match that could
Something.
have taken place. That could have. I mean,
You
I
gotta
know
put
that.
that on the pre-show. You gotta put Ray and Miz an actual wrestling match on the show. But what do I know, right? Now let's talk about the men's elimination chamber, the main event, the final match of the night. Concussion protocol. Concussion protocol. Yes, Bobby Lashley may be hurt from something else, but then why did we put the belt on him before? Why did we let him win the belt back? I don't understand. I'm really just blown away. Why did he defeat Brock Lesnar? How can again, this just, I don't understand this. Again, guys work against a lot more on regular TV shows. But when it comes to pay-per-view, these guys won't fight through this. And again, Linda, don't get me started on Brock Lesnar winning the match, and now it's title versus title. These Brock and Roman, forget about the Royal Rumble for a second. Brock and Roman could have had a match at WrestleMania and would have been huge, marquee, right? They didn't need the belts. But now that the belts are there, that takes away two other matches. You could have had those belts on somebody else, wrestling somebody else, and that was two separate matches. You could have made a bigger show, but now you threw it all into one pot. Now you've got Roman Reigns as a champion, Brock Lesnar as a champion. Those two guys are in one match. You got two nights. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. Brock and Roman at WrestleMania would have been huge, regardless of any titles in the mix there. But I think going into Elimination Chamber, felt Roman would still retain. He's been that strong Universal Champion this whole time. So it could have been and would have been just fine. I agree. Roman and Brock, Universal title. Boom. Let's settle this thing once and for all. But having Bobby then taken out of the match. Now, before I jump too far ahead, this,
Oh, can't
possible
jump too
shoulder
far. We're in the
injury.
main event.
No. I just meant Bobby, the whole having the title at Rumble and whatnot, or beating Brock. Now this possible shoulder or whatever injury, it's rumored to be or have taken place in his match with Brock at the Rumble, I believe, is what I'm just kind of hearing in the rumor mill here.
Yes.
If that is true, maybe it did happen during the match and he went through with the match and the Roman interference. Yes, and then it is true if you think about it. He hasn't defended it since. He's been out in his fashionable suits at Raw. Not really much attention or much physicality since being champion. And I mean, you know, with this concussion, I said that in air quotes or whatever, it still just sucks because Bobby has so much momentum going
Right.
in, and a lot of us would have loved to have seen Bobby headline WrestleMania. And now, just going into what you just said, now we have both WWE championships in one match, and we're still having the two shows, so it's not like it's. I mean, unless it's going to be one show, I don't know. But you're right; it does take away from another match that we could have had for a 2-night WrestleMania.
Yep.
I mean, once Bobby was taken out of that chamber match, I knew, or obviously Brock's
We all
gonna
knew
win.
what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Brock was going to blow through everybody.
Yeah. And while I did enjoy that finish, I enjoyed those last couple of minutes with him and Austin Theory. My goodness. Austin Theory going through a lot with that, but I enjoyed it. I did.
It took the air out of the
really
match.
Well.
And I was like, is this thing over? Just end it. Just get it over with. Let's move on. I mean, the positive news that came around this weekend as well is the American Badass is going to be the first and main event headliner for the Hall of Fame. Now, I don't know if you saw this, but the Smackdown taping live on Friday night will also be the Hall of Fame. So your tickets, you're going to get Smackdown and the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's great. Having everything all at once. Yeah, I would say that's a hot ticket definitely for WrestleMania weekend. Absolutely. And you know what's after the Hall of Fame getting out too?
The most important thing after the Hall of Fame is the post show, the party of the weekend shenanigans.
Yes, now that is the hottest ticket. I said SmackDown in the Hall of Fame is a hot ticket, but if you want the hottest ticket, that would be the PWR Shenanigans Party, hosted by Kevin Nash, or presented by, or it's his party. I couldn't say that right there, but
somebody asked me how do I explain? I'm like, well, Kevin Nash and really, David the Popcorn Night Hero, it's their party, right? It's PWR's party. Dave is PWR, Kevin Nash is Shenanigans, and I don't know how else to explain it. It's really just the best party to be at. That's how I explain it.
Indeed. Shenanigansparty.com for details and tickets, by the way.
Yeah, I know tickets are selling. I don't think they're sold out yet, but I know they're moving. So you want to get in while you fit in, and make sure you get your ticket to get in there.
Shenanigansparty.com, baby.
There you go. Perfect. Well, Linda, that is Monday morning for us. We got Raw tonight. And really, now without another pay-per-view until WrestleMania, the major storytelling starts tonight.
Yeah. Will we see some new additions, meaning possible triple threat, possible fatal 4-way, possible fatal 5-way matches for the titles?
Will we also see somebody from the Stars, or somebody that might be the American Nightmare?
Somebody bizarre.
Right, exactly. All that stuff could happen. So make sure you're watching Raw, and then make sure you're tuning in tomorrow morning for Linda Kay and the man they call Meathead as we break down Monday Night Raw from tonight. So for Linda Kay, I am the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.